Communication is key to a close relationship. However, when we establish a fantasy bond, we tend to become increasingly closed off to real dialogue, or a kind and compassionate way of exchanging impressions and ideas. Instead, we tend to be defensive and have angry or intimidating overreactions to feedback from our partner. These shut our partner down. Whether we punish our partner by emotionally breaking down, giving them the silent treatment, or screaming at them, we're telling them that we don't want to hear what they have to say. We may provoke additional emotional distance by saying things we know will sting our partner the most. In order to change this pattern, try to look for a kernel of truth in what our partner says, rather than picking apart flaws in the feedback. If he or she says, "I feel bad when you just watch TV all night. I feel disregarded and like you aren't interested in me," consider what parts of that resonate with you instead of wasting time on everything that doesn't. You may feel like snapping back by saying, "Don't be ridiculous and dramatic. I'm just tired." There may be some truth to that, but you could instead pause to consider, "I have been tired lately, but is more going on with me than that? Have I been distracted to the point of disregarding my relationship?" Your attuned response would then be, "I'm sorry you feel bad. I felt distracted lately by work and tired when I come home. I can see how my tuning out hurts you, even though I didn't mean to hurt you." We can always make it our goal to hear everything. This doesn't mean we have to agree with what someone else is saying. However, we can strive to be open and seek feedback from people we care about and trust, so that they feel comfortable talking to us about the more difficult subjects. Being closed to new experiences instead of open to new things. In every relationship, it's important to maintain a sense of ourselves as unique people. When we get involved with someone new, it should expand our world, not shrink it. When we first fall in love, we tend to be open to new things. However, when we start to engage in a fantasy bond, we tend to adopt roles and routines that limit us and close us down to new experiences. We may become more rigid and automatic in our responses. "You know I don't like that restaurant," or "we always see a movie on Saturday night." It actually hurts the relationship when we stop being free and open to developing new shared interests. It can foster real resentment between partners. While no one should force themselves to do things they really don't want to do, shutting down the part of ourselves that seeks new experiences and responds to a spark in our partner can drain us of our aliveness and spontaneity. We should always be open to exploring things that expand our world and be careful not to limit our or our partner's experiences. Try activities each of you enjoys and see if they add to the arsenal of things you can do together and share in a lively way. This doesn't mean that you have to share all of your interests or meet every one of each other's needs. In fact, it's essential to maintain your independence and individuality. We don't need one person for fulfillment, but we do need shared activities. A relationship doesn't exist in a vacuum. Being open to new experiences keeps it alive. Using deception and duplicity instead of honesty and integrity. Saying "I really love you," but acting like you don't have any time to spend with your partner. Saying "I want to be close to you," and then constantly criticizing your partner when he or she is around. Saying "I'm not interested in other people," but flirting with everyone else at the bar. The actions that contradict these words do not look like love. They represent a fantasy of being close but without real relating, essentially putting form over substance. Admittedly, honesty in a relationship can be tricky because it doesn't mean saying every little critical thing to our partner that pops into our head. We have to know our real intentions and what our real truth is. When our actions are honest, we can create genuine closeness. Overstepping boundaries instead of showing respect for them. "We like to go there. We don't want to go to that party. We like that kind of food." Many of us unintentionally lose track of where we leave off and our partner begins. Without noticing it, we may be intrusive or controlling toward our partner, acting in a manner that is disrespectful or demeaning to the other person's sense of self. When this happens, it not only hurts our partner and his or her feelings for us, but it undermines our strength and feelings for our partner. Many couples come to hold their partner responsible for their happiness, which leads to demands, complaints, and a sense of powerlessness. In order to be a loving partner and maintain your own feelings of interest and attraction, you should have regard for what lights your partner up and matters to him or her. You should see your partner as a whole and separate person who matters to you, independent of your own needs and interests. You can both encourage each other to engage in pursuits that really express who each of you are as individuals. Whether it's learning a language, climbing a mountain, or writing a book, you can see each other for who you really are and support each other's unique goals and capabilities. When we give another person this space, regard, and respect, we actually draw that person closer to us. Obviously, there are real outside circumstances that can affect or change one's physical relationship. It's important to filter out the negative messages and stay in touch with this vital part of ourselves and our partner. Ideally, we strive to stay in touch with our own feelings and with those of our partner. There would be a give and take, with real contact being made, that sparks intimate and loving feelings. The more free-flowing and spontaneous our expressions of love can be, the less likely you and a partner are to grow apart. In a fantasy bond, we tend to see our partners for who we need them to be rather than who they are. We may distort them by idealizing or putting them on a pedestal. We may pick them apart, denigrating them by projecting negative qualities onto them. We may even see them as more critical, intrusive, or rejecting than they are because we grew up with people who had these qualities. When we disrespect the boundary between ourselves and our partner, we're more likely to see them as an extension of ourselves, and we may mistreat or criticize them in ways we mistreat or criticize ourselves. In an ideal relationship, we see our partner realistically, both their strengths and their foibles, and accept them for who they are. We don't allow ourselves to create a negative caricature, which means not focusing in on their flaws and indulging in critical thoughts. However, it also means not creating a grandiose image of them. No one can really feel loved unless they feel like they're seen realistically. When a partner builds us up or tears us down, we can feel like we're on shaky ground, not really being loved for who we are. This is why it's so important not to distort the other person.